Welcome back to my high school showcase. We got one final series on the docket for tonight, and I'm bringing in a heavy hitter for our final series of the evening. Mr. Pyro J just finished up his stream, rated the channel. Shout out to everybody that came over here. And I mean, Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Blake. It's good to be chatting with you no matter what it is. But when it's in the booth, it is the best, man. I wouldn't be called to action in any other format, whether it be a Bepic showdown for collegiate or high school. We're doing a big high school match tonight. Yeah. The lights are bright, and I want them to blind me tonight. Okay, let's get to it, man.
All right, well, that's perfect timing because both teams are ready. So we're just going to jump straight into it. We've had a long enough break. I know you're probably tired from streaming a while. So we got Eagan High School out of Minnesota. We got Shorian Esports out of Michigan. That's Lake Shore High School for those unfamiliar. So a battle of the Great Lakes, essentially, to cap us off. So let's get it started. I mean, Fresh Mode already has.
Who's the northernmost tribe in the high school Rocket League scene? Who's the king of the north, they could say, and he's burning it all down. It's Inferno.
That's a funny oxymoron, having Inferno as your name, but being a very, very northern high school player. Hey, Shorian Esports on the board first. 17 seconds, all it took them. They are starting off on the right foot.
I'll tell you what, Eagan and Shorian are two names that really ring a bell to me, having been in and around the high school Rocket League scene for a few years now. Eagan especially. I know these players come with a reputation. Flo in particular recognized him as soon as I was in the lobby, and I'm expecting big things from him today.
Captain. The guy that got these three players in here tonight, they are playing with a sub out from Hopkins High School, as they had a third that wasn't able to make it today. So Fresh Mode is the substitute of the not typical roster for Eagan. So they're rocking with a different trio than normal, and so is Shorian. Both teams playing with a little bit of an amalgamated roster, just to get some practice in tonight, get each other experience, and Fresh Mode looking good. Substitute. Now talk about superstar. We're tied up.
Hey, when you got half the name of Beast Mode, you're gonna pull a place like this. Clean double tap, good setup off the backboard, and it's a man on a mission right there. He knew exactly what he wanted.
How about that? I speak it into existence. I give him the spotlight for a second. Fresh Mode makes the most of it. Love to see it. You don't expect to see that level of shot erupting in a high school show match.
No, you don't, but let's keep the good times rolling, okay? Fresh Mode, he kind of creased the door open. Now they're breaking it through. Again, I expected Flo to be the guy to talk about, but everyone else doing the work that matters, putting these guys of Eagan in the lead.
Hey, I'm sure Flo's happy to see it. The two out in front doing some heavy lifting. Fresh Mode looking for more, and I feel like they would have hit that if Darkino not been there, but there you go. There's your guy, Flo, finding a response off the side wall.
As much as I want to put the exclamation marks around this big shot, this big goal, now I'm thinking about more question marks for Shorian Esports, because they started out so hot with Inferno with the opening goal, and 3 conceded in a row. We might make it 4 here off the kickoff. Things are sort of falling off the wheels here, Bepic.
Yeah, just a touch. I mean, there's plenty of time left, but you hate to stare down the barrel of a 3-goal deficit. That is never easy to come back from. I mean, game 1, you're getting your feet underneath you here, but hey, Shorian Esports, I know they're capable of making this comeback happen. I mean, Relic's now a collegiate player, while having graduated this past spring over at the GVSU program. So I know they got the talent, and right there, I mean, talk about a great setup that wasn't quite able to put down.
All right, well, hey, as Fresh Mode tries to put this top bins, instead it's going to go the other way by Relic. Congratulations to Relic. Graduating is a serious business, you know? You gotta make it all the way, and then to have those hopes over at GVSU to continue on with that's awesome news. And I know these players work just as hard in the classroom as they are here on the field. So that's Very important, especially as you and I, Blake, are very keyed in to that collegiate scene and the people that are filling in those roles. Filling in the gap on the back line, though, are both teams, as this has been our longest stretch without a goal.
It nearly ended, though, a second ago. It was a wonderful save made by Eagan. Keep that 3-goal lead intact. Dark trying to get one back, but freshman on the near side just kind of stuffs that attempted infield pass. And Flo attempting to get that ball to a teammate through the corner. Will be unsuccessful, but receiving the ball eventually. Another clear for Eagan. Good defensive stand, but it's getting closer for Shorian Esports.
I like what Darquinho was up to in the corner there. It was a tap at the corner.
There it is.
And it was a pass to somebody. This is an unorthodox passing routine here, Bepic.
Yeah, fresh. Okay. Yeah, I see what you saw. I looked down for a second and the ball went in. I was like, okay, Shorian Esports scored, but they did have a little bit of help along the way. I mean, fresh mode, the goal that they hit to kick us off was so spectacular, I'll forgive a little bit of an own goal. But that is a response and a half from Relic off kickoff, getting back within one.
This is a shootout, MrBepic. Yeah, they understand that there is a show to provide to their audience, and so they are doing exactly that. No, what we're seeing is the potential of these players actually rise up, and we are seeing the potential in game number 1 of this best of 7 Relic. Another flip reset goal here. Makes me think about what the rest of the series has to offer us.
Well, hopefully multiple flip resets on a lot of different plays. That was spectacular from Relic. Capped it off with a dunk as well on the goal line. It's a statement game 1, I think, from both teams. Both hitting immaculate shots, and I mean, Shorian Esports committing a 3-goal comeback now, forcing some defensive mistakes from Eagan High School, and now it's Eagan's turn. Show what they can do in clutch time.
I just love this response in general from Lakeshore. I mean, being down 3 goals or beaten into the ground, but they dust off the dirt from their pants and they get back up, and here they are, tie game, nearly a minute remaining. Will that resolve stay? Will they continue that momentum into a win here, or will we finally see Eagan clap back?
With what I've seen from the high school teams playing tonight, I genuinely have no idea. I don't think predicting is a smart task whatsoever. For the level of talent we've got on here and the level of unpredictability that both teams, that all high school teams seem to supply. 46 seconds left and 2 going up in defense. Well, it's a bit more of a certain outcome that, again, still isn't certain. The crossbar and post stop Eagan's attempt at a late go-ahead goal, and that should be a clear.
That is a big look for Eagan late in this game. Pivotal to tone setting this series that will run dry for them. Question for them is if they'll get an opportunity like that again. Final seconds, we see a pinch. Stretch this ball across the field. Picking up on it is Relic. Dash won't keep control, and Darquinho, a vulnerable spot to put that ball in, now allowing fresh mode to work towards the back line. Flo is going to reach up and down towards this ball, opening for Opto in the final seconds, but it's dropped back down to the ground, and in game 1, we've got OT.
Well, we narrowly avoided an immediate answer from Eagan. They had all kinds of control that final 90-second stretch, and they were going to continue that control into overtime with the first opportunity of our extra period of Rocket League. But Shorian Esports do get away out of defense. Opto put them right back into it, though. We will start overtime where we ended regulation.
And here we go. We almost saw the end of game number 1. A big dive in there from Eagan. They felt like they were robbed of their earlier goal late in regulation, so early in OT, they'll snag it away. It's Flo with the drop down.
And the replay gave us a nice visual of the sideline. I don't know why, but Flo dunked that ball in pretty handily. I mean, Darquinho was on the back wall in position, just Flo got the better of him up there. That is a wonderful finish for Eagan, and yes, it is a best of 7 for those wondering the format, and I think we could go the distance in this one again.
Really feels like that. I mean, towards the end of that game, with the comeback from Shorian Esports, it felt like the domino could drop either way, that we were balancing on a tightrope and we were going to fall one way, just didn't know which way that was. So for Eagan to rise back up and control that overtime, get those shots to flood in, we ended up with 10 from them and only 6 from Shorian. I would say we were even moving into the end of that game, Bepic, but it was Eagan who in the final seconds really controlled the effort.
I mean, it's difficult to come back from being 3 goals down, like Shorian Esports did, and it's even more difficult, I think, to collect yourself after losing a 3-goal lead that late-ish in a game, and then end up winning in overtime like Eagan did. So both teams showing a little bit of might, but only one team could have won game 1, and it was Eagan. Clutch in OT, but we move to a fresh scoreboard, a fresh 5 minutes, and it's Eagan again off kickoff trying to start us off.
I like it. You know, why pump the brakes here? We're just getting started if you're watching Eagan. And I've got to say, so far, my eyes are on fresh mode. They completely took me by surprise, hearing that they were the substitute, and then popping off with a double tap. Trying to make matters better for themselves on the defensive end here, but on low boost, it's not looking super secure. Save there for Opto will hold them back for a moment longer, but Darginho with their target to the back line. Save from Flo pops it back out again, and Relic off the corner, the boost steal, the demo. It's doing so much work, but can they put the final put back on? Not quite.
Defensive stand, Eagan doing it on both sides of the ball, but Shorian Esports going to continue this onslaught, but Flo bobs and weaves through 2 incoming offensive players, and then goes the other way, causes chaos, and sets up Opto for a shot saved by Darginho. What a sequence on both sides of the ball. Neither defense relenting in the first minute despite a flurry of quality looks.
I mean, both defenses were sort of shocked, awakened in game number 1 by all of the quality goals we have seen. So both teams understand big saves are going to be necessary to keep this game in control for yourself. And that's what we're seeing now. The defenses are rising to the occasion, understanding what needs to be put down to the table and serving it up in a splendor fashion. It's given us an equal game here, 2 minutes into game number 2, which is not what I would have expected out of the 9-goal game 1 we just saw.
Such as Rocket League, I suppose, and it's not for lack of trying on either side either. That shot nicely saved by Flo. Getting back on the goal line in proper rotation and fresh mode, combining for a shot on target. Just took the ball like a baton being passed from their captain, at least in this show match, and fired a perfect ball far side that Inferno just narrowly could not get to. 1-0 Eagan.
And how many shots did we see next to the goal line that were saved and saved again? It's actually the presence in the midfield that can conjure up big moments, and maybe you can even catch them guard on the kickoff as well. 2 up for Eagan.
All right, and after about half a game of scoreless Rocket League, now the teams can't stop scoring again. At least Eagan can't stop scoring off the back of that one counterattack. They get a style point, I suppose, and now Shorian Esports down a couple of goals again. We'll see what they can do about it.
Well, Darginho once again with the target at the back of the net. This player has been clinical in the shot taking, and finally a goal here. Bepic is going to show for that.
And that is what they can do about it. That was easy enough. What a place ball from Darginho, stepping up and just taking the smaller gap of the 2 sides of the net in between Flo and the near side. It was a difficult shot, but perfectly placed ball. That's that lead in half, and now let's see what Eagan can do about it off kickoff. The Relic didn't even allow.
Nice touch there from Opto. Gonna give time to reset the defense here for Eagan. Big dunk there from Darginho. This is a player who I don't think has found the brake pedal quite yet today. Always headstrong into ball, into the action. That time missing their chance on the challenge, and Inferno with the patient play ends up being the one to follow it up. Darginho around the bend. Relic hoping to get this more infield than stuck in the corner, and they'll do exactly that, forcing the mistake on the backboard from Shorian for the equalizer.
That's the benefit of never hitting the brake pedal. I mean, that counter from Shorian Esports was so quick. I mean, That's a ball that Flo needs to be hitting out to the side or just hitting in general, but you can't really blame him for missing in that position. Shorian forcing a defensive mistake, as Eagan has done to them a couple of times, and we continue the ebb and flow of our nightcap, which continues to deliver. 2 minutes left, we're tied up again, and Fresh Mode's trying to change that, but couldn't put that ball on target.
Almost saw a reflection. Game number 1 there. Double taps almighty in this series from Fresh Mode, but they'll have to start from 0 once again as they boost up from their corner. Dip off from Opto into Fresh Mode's hands and gets a great pinch on the backboard. Actually, that's a free ball if Eagan is ready to dive at it, but I think the trust or the expectation was there for the pass to come there in perfect position. Flo, though, working the corner, has a teammate of Fresh Mode to drop that right down on the baseline, but you can tell that the third of Eagan is reluctant to dive in for the shot. They'd rather play a more patient game, break down their opponents as the game goes, and maybe, just maybe, find a break loose moment like this.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, Egan's gonna be happy about that, I'm sure. That's gotta be the cause of a couple chuckles, I feel like, on either side. Like, Shorian Esports, I'm sure frustrated a little bit, but hopefully they can laugh that off. That's a rough one for Darkinho, who has been phenomenal in this series. Just a little bit of a lapse right there.
And it's about capitalizing on mistakes here. I mean, the last goal that Shorian had was a backboard miss from Eagan. So, you know, which team is going to stick together until we see triple zeros on the clock? That feels like the answer to that question is going to be the team wins this game. Certainly an advantage to Eagan as they're up 1 in this game, but that means there's 30 seconds for Shorian Esports to fire on the Jets.
Nice center ball. We'll see who wins the race to it. Opto and Darkinho both up for it. Well, last player back, keeping control, and that is a bit of confidence shown right there out in front of your net. Getting back to that ball. Well, get that far out from your car in the first place. But Eagan defending their 1-goal lead very nicely. Chance to add to it. Relic makes a tough save. Will keep things alive for Shorian Esports. Late in this one, but Opto going to dash the dreams of a comeback, I fear. As Eagan High School take a 2-goal lead with 4 seconds left, I think it's safe to say they're looking at a 2-0 series lead.
I think it's safe to say as well. 2-0 indeed for Eagan, and that came off a backboard pass, which is what Shorian Esports were trying to do on their last possession for the 3rd goal. Unfortunately, that offensive rotation was not as tight as it needed to be. The risks that had to be taken, the positioning and the boost grabs, they just weren't there. And it feels like Bepic, when you're in those tight moments at the end of the game, everything's got to line up. That just didn't happen for Shorian at the end of game 2.
Nope, not quite. And to their benefit, I've had 2 instances of this tonight where the team going up 2-0 in the series ended up losing their series in Game 7. And it didn't happen in the last series. It was a 4-1 for Grand Forks Central. But the first 2 series tonight followed that pattern. So that's the only bit of optimism I have for Shorian Esports right now. Although I've got a second one. They're right there with Eagan. I mean, these are close games.
They are.
Eagan's just narrowly getting the best of them at the end of the game, whether that be in overtime or right there with about a minute left. So going forward, a couple more bounces go their way. Shorian Esports is in this, but Eagan now have a really good opportunity to get this series over and done with really quickly if they can keep up their level of play.
Hey, we'll try our best to keep up, because at some points in this series, goal after goal, it can get a little tough. These high school players, they actually know how to shoot. Bepic, this is part of the reason I really wanted to drop in and get a fresh look at what the high school scene is today, because it never ceases to amaze. And I hope that I continue to be amazed. I hope the development of these teams across this series continues. And we may see a continued series for a long span of time if we see more out of this from Shorian.
These high schoolers, they get better every single year. And I was talking to Coach, the coach of Shorian Esports, and he was telling me that these guys, I mean, Inferno and Darkinho, Relic doesn't have a chance at the high school state championship, but they've got their sights set on the Michigan Rocket League state championship this season, which is why they wanted to play tonight. Start getting reps in very early on, they're down 2-0 to Eagan right now, but these are the types of comebacks you have to make if you are going to find yourself a state champion at the end of a season. And a defensive stand being made right now. A pair of big blocks now converted into a counterattack with Opto Awkward. That's an open net. Relic puts it in. It's 2-0 Shorian Esports.
So glad there was someone to follow this play in Relic, because yes, to make those saves is a tremendous effort, but get the punishment, right? Follow up on the play and make sure you've got that next goal secured, because look at how awkward Opto was. Look at the cowardly position you got your opponents in. It's a great play, I think, from Shorian end to end.
Speaking of, another one here from Eagan. End to end, Flo gets it out, dunks it. I think Fresh threw off the defender right there. Just enough to miss that sidewall read. And then Flo hit the shot he had to. Went far side with the ball. The defender moving in towards him. Full momentum. That's what you have to do right there. And again, it's capitalizing on mistakes. That miss that Eagan may or may not have forced, they capitalized on. 2-1.
I don't know about you, Bepic, but from what I've seen, it does feel like this game is going to come down to the defense of Shorian.
Yeah.
And whether or not they can keep things together, because one thing we know is from Fresh Mode and now from Flo, these shots aren't going to miss. The quality of shot taking from Eagan is not going to worsen over this series. It may see its lapses, and that's fine. Shorian will get their breaks, but for the most part, they have to keep their defense in lockstep. Otherwise, this 2 goals that Eagan just got on Shorian is going to flurry into more.
I'm with you. I mean, they've shown they can make big defensive stands, but can they do it consistently? That's the big thing. That's a nice pass out. Give Relic a little bit of space with 100 in hand, but couldn't corral it through the corner as Flo corralled it a bit too much right there. Heavy pass out to the side. Fresh Mode is more than happy to see that. They turn in a go-ahead goal just kind of out of nowhere as the defense was tossed into chaos.
It's that criticality on defense that I'm talking about. And again, we've had these moments where it's looking a little shaken, but listen, 3 minutes left in this game. There's ample time to turn this around. And if you want to do that on offense by equalizing here, you absolutely can. Relic's going to give it a shot with the double tap, by the way. Inferno on the follow just underneath the ball. And look at how quickly the turn occurs. Fresh Mode backboard, not quite there.
Still strict, fast, and nearly lethal counterattack. Fresh Mode was one half a step slow to putting that in for a fourth. This might be a fourth regardless. Fresh Mode capitalizes on an empty backboard, and Eagan have a 2-goal lead now with less than half a game left to play, which I wouldn't say is completely safe, but other than playing, it's getting close to as such.
And listen, when you have Flo pre-jumping on that play, yeah, Inferno, you can jump up and put a car up in the way. I think you're better off putting a prayer up, my friend. Eagan High School is starting to look devilish on this field, and that is not a good sign for Shorian. However, this passing play across the field certainly was. Unfortunately for them, couldn't find this shot on target.
That one is Fresh Mode, though, back for it. 50 boost in hand. We'll get to that one as well, but Relic, 50-50. Win it handily enough, actually, to give Flo the ball, unfortunately for Shorian Esports. And Flo sticking with it, getting a little crafty there with the sidewall read. I think Eagan gaining in confidence is starting to show that a little bit with the kind of stylish plays they're going for. The pre-jumps, the keen redirections off the side wall, and well, 2-goal lead. They're safe to do that for now, but here comes Shorian Esports to try and do something about it. And even that, taken away by Flo.
And here's another issue for Shorian that we're seeing creep up again. On that turnaround for Eagan High School, they don't have boosts. Both of the defenders rotating back are on 0. And if you get any good flick play, passing play, happen on transition for Eagan High School, you are dusted. Boost management is going to be huge, especially on transition here for Shorian, including a moment like this. Darquinho, though, in that position, able to grab that corner boost. And Relic, can we get the turnaround? Here we go. Drops it down to the midfield. Darquinho, full boost, although it was already at 75 or so. And Opto hanging out in the play. Flow, flick on target, top corner. You can't get more perfect than it.
Flo has got his shooting boots on tonight with Opto, I don't know, some kind of synchronized swimming sort of move right there, unfazing him. Flo just nailed the top right corner of the Shorian Esports net. A minute left, and Eagan have taken over.
This is insane. Let's see more of it. It's one of those things that baffles you, but you want to feel bewildered again. 40 seconds for Eagan to make matters worse for Shorian Esports. That's certainly what it feels like. However, Darkinho looks for their teammate on a passing play. It is cut off. Double demolition, collateral damage onto Shorian Esports, and matters have indeed been made worse.
I mean, the first two games, extremely close affairs, but here Eagan has run away with things with a good chunk of time left on the clock, and it's looking like Shorian Esports is going to have to reverse sweep, and no one ever wants to have to do that in a best-of-7 format, especially not against an Eagan team that looks so hot right now, not just individually, but playing around each other as well. They're fielding passes well. They're just on the same page, it feels like, in most cases. And now, with Opto dominating that 50-50, it's going to take this game to bed and maybe add one more here if Eagan wants it. If they don't, they'll be satisfied with 6 and move into game 4.
I think what's most impressive to me here is you mentioned the synergy that we're seeing out of Eagan. They're not just individually talented players, but as a team, they're impressive as well. And I agree to an extent because they're able to do this with fresh mode, with the substitute on the roster. This to me speaks to the game sense, the individual skill that is brought to these players that, you know, do play 3v3 ranked and do play with other players and have to find their role on a team. Obviously, they're calming. Obviously, they're teaming up in an extraordinary fashion. We love that. Flo popping in with the follow on the stream. Let's go, Flo. We love to see that. The synergy is everywhere, Bepic.
It is, and I mean, you drop a hat trick in a game. I think it's okay if you pop out of the client for a moment to drop a follow to a streamer that's casting you. I like that flow. That's one of your best plays all night. And yeah, I agree. I think the game sense is up there. There's probably a reason. I hadn't heard of Eagan before tonight, Pyro, but you hopping in and being like, you know, being around the high school scene, I definitely recognize the Eagan name. I'm starting to see why. Yeah, they're pretty good at this Rocket League game, and they're showing it here, and they'll continue to show it, I'm sure, going into game 4, because they have been styling at points against a very, very good Shorian Esports team.
And that's the sense you get about the series, that it's not quite done. Yes, that was an overblown characterization of what we've ever seen from Eagan. Again, this is with fresh mode. Yet in the back of your mind, you know what Shorian's capable of, and especially if they get started early, the series could get a little interesting.
I don't know how calculated that was, but that was the perfectly placed ball from Darkinho. That, like, so much pace on it, and it went far side where Flo couldn't catch up. Shorian Esports, a great start to game 4. Hey, if they're going to kick off a reverse sweep journey, that is the way to do it.
And they either need goals to come in as quickly as that, or they need the defense to shape up this time around. They cannot concede 6 goals. It's just as clear as that. So although they have the ball on the blue side, and that is certainly good, take down on the possession time from your opponents of Eagan, I need to see some saves from this team, and I need to see some turnarounds. Darkinho, a second goal.
All right. He's finding shots from out of nowhere. That one just pops off the ceiling and is in a perfect spot to turn in an open net. And hey, shout out to ML Esports GG for the raid. Guys, thank you so much for popping over. Shout out for the raid. I hope the stream went well. I've loved me some MLE back in the day. Happy to see you popping in for the final show match of the night. Eagan in a handy lead overall in the best-of-7 over Shorian Esports, but a 2-0 game lead for Shorian is a pretty decent start for reverse sweep comeback. Myself and Pyro J casting tonight, and it's Eagan trying to make a comeback. My word, that was close.
That was indeed close, and you know the game is going to get close. That goal may have not gone in for Eagan, but we know one is forthcoming. Opto off the backboard. The follow is coming in from Flo and Opto. We're touching on each other's toes, but Fresh Mode puts an end to it.
And you called it. You felt like it was coming. I mean, with how spaced out Shorian Esports was in defense, they're all clumped in the corner, and they've got boost, but there's no one home. A counterattack just crushed them, sent them into splinterines there. Now they're still up a goal, but Eagan have momentum, and that has been the scariest prospect in this entire series. That's a great bump, and Relic can turn that ball away, maybe into some kind of possession for Shorian Esports. Get one back, show Eagan that they can answer here, but moving back the other way, Eagan looking to establish themselves once again in that orange zone.
Darquinho. A little pestered there. Had to utilize their boost for reasons I don't think they really wanted. But they will manage a save there. The boost steals. I mean, they're going to be so vital here for Eagan to keep Shorian back on their own line. This one a good setup for a shot taker of Opto, and that will fly in. I hate to say it, Bepic, but if Shorian didn't touch this, it might have posted out.
It's a tough equalizer to give up. Relic's diving in, trying. You have to respect that. I feel like, yes, that I think was going out. Relic's got to try and make a play on it, and unfortunately, in the split decision moment, he makes the wrong decision. But 2-2, still tied. Eagan have only gotten a little bit of the way back in this game. They still need the lead. Shorian Esports still have that to work with. They've still got Relic to work with. He had a passing option in Darquinho. Inferno, be careful! Oh no! He just botched that transition, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a little effort to be cheeky here. It was to say, okay, I can coordinate the turn. No, wait. And it's too late. I feel like we've all kind of been there, but let's characterize it in the sense of the series, right? They're under a lot of pressure right now. They have to reverse sweep, and mistakes like that, as we draw down closer to triple zeros on the clock, you can't make them. So that's maybe the last mistake that Shorian Esports can really, in fairness, make here if they want to turn this series around.
Pop ball mid is going to give Darquinho a chance to shoot. A cheeky little shot from that position. Well done just to get it there, but the defense was prepared, as Eagan have been since those first two goals went in, and now on the other side of things, they're trying to get insurance themselves. But Inferno from the sidewall for Relic, trying to flip the field back. Be successful in at least giving the ball to that midfield line, but Eagan are starting to pump the gas a little bit. Opto zipping to the back wall of Shorian Esports, although the defense prevails, and Relic is out on a double tap opportunity.
That's a tough look, because there's two defenders there. You assume that one of them will get a touch, but as soon as they don't, it's like, wait, I can get this double tap and then hold on. Darquinho can actually score this equalizer. Chances coming about for Shorian Esports, and they're capitalizing.
Hey, Opto crept out on the near side, and you talk about it. It's a game of mistakes at the moment. Shorian Esports, unfortunately for them, been on the wrong side of a few too many, but Eagan gonna give them away back in this one, which is a slight mispositioning there by Opto. So we'll try to get it back by way of Flo, 100 boost in hand. Shut that down, unfortunately, right at Opto. So Shorian Esports fight for the ball back. They do vehemently fight for it back. They got possession now, but Fresh Mode's trying to take it all away.
Now the series could be taken away by Eagan, but they have to have someone on the other side of the field. We haven't seen many goals like this, honestly, Bepic. We're Shorian, they're just handed to it in an empty half. They'll certainly take this.
Yeah, Flo dove in as the third man there. I think he thought he had a wider window to attack than he actually did, and that was great punishment by Shorian Esports. Now a lead in the final minute. We'll see what Eagan can do in the clutch time.
It is clutch time. The lights are brightest right now. Then that's a shot you gotta put on. Flo missing their target, but Fresh Mode setting them up again. Save your medal on the side of Shorian Esports as they continue to block it away and away. Inferno having trouble with these tight turns on the ball. That time on offense, the last on defense. keeping the control on the other side of the pitch. Flow on 0 boost. Doesn't get a touch out, but Darquinho's got the follows. 1 touch after the second gives all the ample time in the measures. Shorian Esports to hold this lead just 15 seconds more, and they survive in this series. Psycho attempt from fresh mode. Redirect finds its way to the midfield. Darquinho shot towards the net. Flow out to the outside. This is going to be the last chance for Eagan to force an overtime and finish this here in a sweep. Ball's crept up towards the sky, but dives down to the ground. Shorian earned their first win in the series.
All right. And, I mean, a couple of those other games to start off this series I think could have gone either way. So Shorian is finally getting on the board. Maybe too late. We'll see if they can keep this going. But that was a great game of punishing openings on the Eagan side. The little mistakes that gave Shorian maybe an extra 50-50 that was a little bit more favorable that turned into an open net eventually. Or, I mean, obviously the open net they had to go up by one there at the end of the game is an obvious one to point at. But the resilience as well in defense. And they gave up 3 goals. That's the best mark of the game defensively, or the series rather, for Shorian Esports, that 3 mark. So that continues. Hey, maybe there's something there, but they got to keep the offense going.
Absolutely. The offense is going, like you said, a lot of punished mistakes there. The saves came up too. They had 4 saves on 8 shots there from Eagan, and so that's a great display, especially better than the 6 goals they conceded in one game. They just can't replicate that effort. As the defense is fortified in this series, we may have to see the shot quality improve, or the mistakes continue to come about. Again, you mentioned the open net goal that Shorian had as their final goal. Remember their first one. That was just a pinch across the field that just ended up in.
That's
so
true.
We'll see what kind of goals Shorian end up with in game number 5.
It's difficult to replicate the goals that they did score in that last game. But all right, it's your time to shine. You've given yourself a little bit more life. Shorian Esports, what can you do with it? It's a ball up the corner that Flow should be able to control, but going to nab some boost there. Make it a little more difficult for the defensive rotations of Eagan if they do have to retreat back into them, but good midfield control. That's set up the Eagan offense for a little bit longer stay in the orange end that will bring to a close.
Exit found here for Eagan. Freshman little boost out to Opto, and the whiff makes for a shot opportunity for Flow. He said that's not how I expected to find the shot, but I'll certainly take it. I like a little boost. That is a dangerous ball to put in the middle in front of his net. Managed to not offer a free look for Eagan, but here they come clamoring back. Inferno gives the ball way to Flow. It's caught and it's stuck in this corner. Who's going to end up winning out? Fresh mode in position to shoot, but the clear finds its way over his head.
To a full position here for Relic. He'll go near side. Slam the ball off the back wall. There's no one there to follow it up. For Shorian Esports, fresh mode. Followed up that defensive stand with a nice shot on target that I don't know how Darquinho barely got a piece of, guarding that near side perfectly. Jumping up to cover the high ball and the low ball at the same time. Well done. We'll stay tied at 0 apiece, but we can really have had the bulk of the possession so far, with Shorian Esports having to operate in counterattack mode for the most part.
Well, we mentioned the defenses would fortify, and whether it is on that counterattack or a longer possession, they are getting better. Mistakes are few and far between, but when the lights are the brightest here on the MrBepic show, and you are still with your back against the wall of Shorian, where one game against you can close it out, you keep those mistakes away. Can you wipe the sweat off your hands while you're not on the ball and then get back to it? We'll have to see as we get to that halfway mark.
Put in a tough spot. Darquinho's going to help a little bit with that, demoing Opto, but it still results in a Flow shot that clangs off the post and stays out. It will remain scoreless just past the halfway point of Game 5. Eagan tried to change that, but have been denied just by inches in a couple of instances. There's another chance. Opto shooting right on target, but Inferno gets back in the nick of time. And now Darquinho has to do it, and they can't. Fresh mode finishes the play. Top left, Eagan leads.
Love this from Eagan. It feels like they started that out of truly nothing. Opto had free space in the midfield. You could have controlled the ball, but they decided to dart it straight at the net. Unexpected as ever. All you need after that is Flo to get a good beat off the sideball and then the dunk, and you got yourself a goal. Eagan really creating stellar moments out of seemingly nothing.
So, clean win. Relic's awkward, but somehow the defense gets that ball away. It's still in a poor spot, hanging at the top of that orange box. Flo will corral it out to the side, pinch it back mid for Opto, and no one's home here for Shorian. They will get back, arriving through the back door at the last second. Relic credited with the save, but they are still under the gun. Relic, again, on the goal line, coming up clutch, and I don't know how. It's still 1-0.
Well, they needed to stop there, and it wasn't going to be off of everyone diving at the same ball, but yeah, I'm with you, Bepic. Somehow they got out. They'll have to do it again. Opto from the midfield to redirect towards the net. Fresh Mode reading that clear and finding its way towards the side wall. Darkinho is going to be under this ball for the shot. Opposite side. Flo dives in for the save. Picks up corner boost as well. What's the control on the aerial going to be like? It's good for a few touches. To the other side of the field. Fresh Mode already up for this since yesterday. Not enough boost to get the double tap. The follow from Opto off the crossbar and Flo. There's no reason to commit to that play. You're up 1 with a minute remaining. Now you got to play defense.
And play defense, Opto will. Having to make up for an incidental double commit by his two teammates. Does well to make up for it. Fresh Mode. Corner read will set up Opto for a shot that he can choose to go for if he likes, but not a let to do so. So it's clear for Shorian Esports. Down to the last couple of breaths in this series. With 30 seconds left, they're still down a single goal.
Eagan off a substitute. Can they still put up numbers? Yes! And we can confirm this ain't no MrBepic. This is Fresh Mode.
Yeah, Fresh Mode's been solid. As a substitute, as slotted in perfectly. You wouldn't even know if you had just been watching this series without any background information. And, I mean, Relic, the technical substitute from a different school, Linden alum, and, well, Inferno, the true Shorian Esports player, is going to make this a little bit more interesting. We thought it was over, but that just goes in.
Flo's gonna be looking back at that one, saying, didn't really expect that to happen. Well, have you caused a ripple of an effect here? Have you allowed Shorian to now come back in this series? Flo making a better stop this time around, all the way to the sidewall, looking for a pinch, but not quite getting it. Now Opto up towards the ball, looking for the ground. Fresh Mode gets there. Eagan crossed the finish line, and they win Game 5, and the best of 7 is a total.
And GG's all around. Eagan, I mean, they looked consistently just a little bit better than Shorian Esports, who hung around, but those intense defensive stands and the cross-pitch pinches that go in can only get you so far, unfortunately. And Eagan, I mean, 4-1, they strutted their stuff in that series, Pyro. They were putting in some bangers.
And we had the question from chat, is he Beast Mode's little brother? Well, Fresh Mode just told us in the chat, I am Beast Mode's little brother. So, there you have it, confirmed in the game chat. Now you know, guys, now you know. Eagan, an impressive effort. I think he characterized it well, Bepic. Some of the goals from Shorian were kind of, oh, how did that happen? And at the same time, you know, Eagan, they got some gimmies off some mistakes from Shorian, but you've got to characterize mistakes as either true errors or forced mistakes. And what we saw from Eagan was unlimited pressure today. This team knows how to keep a possession live and break you down and boost steal and get a double demo for a goal if they have to. Really impressive, cohesive effort out of Eagan tonight.
Well, they get the dub on the high school showcase's 2nd edition. As we're starting to get back into the fall season, we'll see how many dubs they catch in the regular season of state play. Looking forward to watching what they can do. Both teams can do. I don't know what it is about like Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois. It's just a treasure trove of good Rocket League talent. But that is the end of the high school showcase. I'm going to toss a raid someone else's way, so make sure you stick around just a little bit longer to support another streamer. But Pyro, thanks for joining me for our final match tonight.
Of course, man. I think what you're doing here is exceptional. Like, These players need as much experience as they can get, and getting it in front of an audience against really tough teams is the best thing they could ask for. So big shout out in the chat for MrBepic. If you haven't thanked this guy already, please thank him and give him the attention that he deserves. And Bepic, is just a pleasure to be next to you, casting the action. Thanks a bunch, man.
Of course. And GG's. I see that Lyndon Coach flows in chat. GG's all around. I hope that was fun, guys, to watch and to play. But that'll do it for this high school showcase. Make sure you tune in Tuesday night for Tuesday Night Lights, the collegiate version of our high school show matches. We got some bangers coming up that evening. It's going to be a good one. I won't leak anything just yet. But stay tuned. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, follow Mr. Pyro J on Twitch and Twitter. He streams more than I do.